Peace and love, family. Peace and love. This is your boy Chris Enlightened coming back again with some more spiritual fiddles. And today I'm going in on items on your ancestor altar. Ooh, this is a good one, family. This is a good one. Items on your ancestor altar. Ooh. This is a good one because a lot of people are unsure about what items they should be placed on your ancestor altar. And in the beginning, I was unsure myself. In the beginning, I just had my ancestors' names written down on pieces of paper. And I wasn't aware that I needed to have pictures of my ancestors on my altar. And again, if you can't find pictures of your ancestors and you know their name, write their name down with some red ink on some yellow parchment paper and store it away on your ancestor altar. Writing the name is better than not having anything resembling your ancestors on your altar. If you're lucky enough to have pictures of your ancestors, please put them on your ancestral altar because pictures hold the energy from which it was taken. So if you have a picture of your ancestor and you place it on your altar, you're going to have a little bit of the reserve of your ancestor's energy in that picture on your altar, helping you to establish a stronger connection. It's just as simple as that. If you don't have any pictures of your ancestral altars on your altar, let's say your ancestors had a fire and all the pictures got burnt up. If you have something physical that they enjoyed or loved, like a keychain, keys, glasses, cell phones, you name it. My great aunt, peace and blessings be upon her, Emma Lane Barnett, she used to like to sew. So I got one of those tomatoes with all the pins in it. You know, a little cushion that you sew with? I have that and her favorite thimble on my ancestral altar. And that represents her. Again, I have her keychain and I also have a picture of her, multiple pictures of her on my ancestral altar. And I have pictures of my aunt smiling on my ancestral altar because whenever I see her, it makes me smile. You know, it's nothing like connecting with your ancestors daily. And when you have items that they had, that they loved, that they used, a little bit of their energy is still tethered within that item that's on their ancestor altar. Another thing you can put on your ancestor altar that a lot of people aren't aware of is things that your ancestors liked. Like my Aunt Emma, peace and blessing be upon her. She loved to drink. So I'm going to be sure to put some wine or some liquor on my ancestral altar, especially on her birthdays or special occasions. I don't do it all the time, but in some cases I do. If you want to keep a bottle of liquor or wine on your ancestral altar, you can do that. You don't even have to open it. You can just buy a bottle of liquor or wine, put it on your ancestral altar, just keep it there. Me personally, every now and then, like on her birthday or any other special occasions, I pour a little bit for her and leave it in a glass overnight. The next night I'll discard it and I'll do it again if need be. You know, I had my granddaddy, peace and blessings be upon him. His name was Frank Barnett. He loved to smoke weed. I don't smoke weed, but I did have some weed and put on my ancestral altar for my granddad. Again, I don't do it all the time, but on his birthday, I know that's what he liked to do, so I put a little bit on there for him. Again, you don't have to, you do you. But if you know your mama, big mama, your cousins, your auntie, whomever that you love that's on your ancestor altar, talk to the family and find out what they like. Find out what they like and put that on the altar. Again, family, there's no right or wrong. I want you all to have some spiritual ingenuity to your practices. It's always good to come up and listen within to what your ancestors are telling you that they want and need. Again, you can feel free to listen to me and try these things to see if it works out for you. You know what I mean? On a previous video, I talked about how you can check to see if your ancestor altar is activated. And one thing that I've done and that I continue to do is I put fruit on my ancestor altar. Again, I had an apple on my ancestor altar for over a year. And after a year, I was like, wait a minute, is this apple still hasn't rotted? It still feels juicy? So I bit into it. It was crunchy and it was still juicy. It was slightly petrified a little bit, but it didn't rot like a normal apple would. And I had gone through I don't know how many dozens of apples, but that one apple that I put on my altar a year ago was still there a year later, and it was still fresh. It was still fresh. And that's when I knew that it was something more than what they were telling us about ancestral altars. And I haven't stopped doing my ancestral practices ever since. So again, family, hopefully you got some jewels on some items you could put on your ancestral altar. Again, if you have pictures, you have items of your ancestors, things that they love, things that they like to eat, drink, smoke. Put them on your ancestor altar. You know, one of my cousins, Jeff, peace of blessings be upon him, he loved to smoke cigarettes. Unfortunately, he died from lung cancer, but he did enjoy smoking cigarettes. I don't smoke cigarettes, but every now and then I do light a cigarette, inhale it, and blow it on his picture. I let him know that, hey, I'm thinking about you, cuzzo. Here you go. You know what I mean? That's just something I do. No one told me to do it. It's just something I felt compelled to do, and I did it. So whatever you feel compelled to do on your ancestor altar to take care of your ancestors, I'm imploring you to do it. You don't have to wait on anyone's opinion. Again, your ancestor altar is nothing more than a physical representation of your spirituality. You do with it as you please. Just be respectful. Okay, family? So on that note, if you want to support me, you can go out to Amazon.com, pick up any one of my 5 books, The Enlightened Talk, Poverty Consciousness, Wealth Consciousness, Dissolving Your Limitations, and my latest book, Consciousness Equals Choice. Pick them up, enjoy them, and give me some feedback, okay, family? So on that note, peace and love. You already know what I'm doing. I'm out here winning.